The A's go straight into the Tigers' den on the road in Detroit and beyond. That's next on Curveballs and Changeups, a baseball podcast straight out of Sacramento. I'm Steve Harmon, and this is a podcast for A's fans and baseball fans in general. I played the game, once hit a Grand Slam home run in an over 30 baseball league. I covered the Bash Brother A's as a sports writer in the 1980s and early 90s. I've been a baseball fan since 1967 when the kid down the block introduced me and my brothers to the game. And my first major league game was at the Oakland Coliseum in 1969. A note, I'm doing separate episodes for the A's and Giants now. You can listen to both wherever you can find podcasts. I've got some observations on today's so-called groundbreaking in Las Vegas, and I have another installment in the Jenny Cavnar play-by-play bloopers. First, though, an update on the A's as they close out their first half of the 2025 season. The A's are 32-48. One more game, and they'll be exactly midway through the season. They just finished a homestand in which they went 3-4. They split 4 with the Houston Astros, and then they lost 2 of 3 to the Cleveland Guardians. They're now 15-27 at home. They're headed to Detroit for 3 to face the team with the best record in baseball. They're 49-30 with a .620 winning percentage, but it doesn't get easier after that. They have the Yankees after that for 3, and then they finish their 9-game road trip in Tampa Bay before they head home for the 4th of July weekend against the San Francisco Giants. So it does not get easier for the A's. On the surface, with the A's, it doesn't look great for sure. A's still have the second worst pitching in baseball, 5.49 ERA. They've given up the most home runs in baseball, 115. A lot of those at home, most of them. The Tigers are almost unbeatable at home, 26-12, and have the best pitching ERA at home in baseball, 2.96 ERA. On the road, though, the A's are much better, 17-21. They're pretty much on par with the Tigers on offense all around. They both are hitting exactly .252. The Tigers have 96 home runs. The A's have 98. Though the Tigers have outscored the A's 391-335, showing that the Tigers know what to do when they get runners on base. But you look a little closer, and maybe it's not so one-sided, at least at this point. At this point of the month, the Tigers have slowed down a bit. In June, they've gone 11-9, and their pitching has been very mediocre at 4.31 ERA. The A's are 9-12 with a 4.70 ERA in June, which doesn't sound all that great, but compare it to May. Their meltdown in May when they went 7-21 with a 6.88 ERA, and you can feel that the A's are making some progress. Toward what end? I think it's very long term. The Tigers are coming off losing 2 of 3 to Tampa Bay, gave up 22 runs in their 2 losses the first 2 games of this series. And then before that, earlier in June, they were only able to split 4 games with the White Sox. So they've had some troubles in the month of June. But the A's do have to face Cy Young lefty Tarik Skubal in the series opener Tuesday. Luis Severino has the task of going up against that ace. Skubal is 8-2 with a 2.06 ERA. He may be even better than last year when he went 18-4 with a 2.39 ERA and 228 strikeouts, all leading the league, which meant he won the pitcher's triple crown. He's been just consistently great this year. In April, he went 3-1 in 5 starts with a 1.52 ERA. He struck out 38 in 29 and 2/3 innings. In May, he won only 2, won 2-0 in 6 starts. Probably should have won 2 others of those starts with a 2.20 ERA, 59 strikeouts in 41 innings, and threw a shutout in late May. And then in June, he's gone 3-0 in all 3 starts with a 1.33. His strikeout rate has gone down a little bit, 18 strikeouts in 20 and 1/3 innings. But Skubal is just as good, maybe even better than last year. A.J. Hinch does have him on the 100-pitch leash, and he's only allowed him to go over 100 pitches once in 15 starts. That was his last start. So if the A's could somehow get some pitches out of him early, then maybe they can get him out of the game so they can get to the bullpen. Now, Severino, not a slouch on the road. We know this, right? His home record is an absolute nightmare. 0-7 with a 6.79 ERA with a 1.60 WHIP. He's given up 7 home runs, and batters are hitting 300 against him in 57 innings. But on the road, he has been dynamic. 2-0 in 6 starts. He could have won more with a 0.93 ERA in 38 and 2/3 innings. Hitters have a 194 batting average against him on the road, and he's got a 0.94 WHIP with no home runs hit against him. I don't want to jinx him, but he has been stellar on the road. Let's see if he can match up with Skubal on the road. Skubal was Hayward born, but I don't think we can really claim him as a Bay Area kid because he was basically raised in Seattle. Game 2, it'll be rookie lefty Jacob Lopez, who is 1-4 on the season. Tries to keep his momentum going. He's given up just 1 earned run in his last 16 innings, 23 strikeouts in those innings, and just walked 6. Overall, he's got 49 strikeouts in 36 innings. That's 12.3 per 9 innings. The Tigers go with John Flaherty in Game 2. He's had a real problem since the start of May. 5.87 ERA over his last 9 starts. He leads the majors with 8 losses. He's 5-8 with a 4.83 ERA. And he's coming, it's a little bit strange. I think there are a lot of head scratchers around there. But last year, he was 13-7 when he was with both the Tigers and the Dodgers. Remember, the Tigers traded him to the Dodgers mid-season, and then later after the season, he signed back with the Tigers. But last year, he was a 13-7 with a 3.10 ERA, I think it was, and he had 194 strikeouts in 162 innings and a 1.07 WHIP. So he obviously has the arm and the moxie to be a dominant starter, but this year just has been a disaster. And his last 2 starts, continuation of that, 15 earned runs in his last 7 innings against the Reds and Tampa Bay. So we'll see how he does against the A's. And the third game of the series, that'll be on Thursday afternoon. Well, it'll be Thursday morning, actually. Jeffrey Springs will go probably up against an opener for the Tigers. Nobody has been announced yet. Springs is 6-5 with a 4.24 ERA. He has left a really rough April behind. In May and June, he's gone 3-2 with a 3.37 ERA. In 58 and 2/3 innings. And, considering everything that all of the starting pitchers have gone through on the A's, those numbers are tremendous. So Springs has definitely solidified himself as one of the top starters with the A's. And he's coming off his best start of the year in his most recent, when he went 7 1/3 inning against Cleveland, allowing only 3 hits. Now, one little treat we did have in this last homestand was to see the A's number 9 prospect, Jack Perkins, make his debut on the mound, and that was in the final game of the series. He went 3 innings, gave up just 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts. He looked like a veteran out there. I have to tell you, there's no rookie in that makeup. He's 25 years old. I mean, he hasn't pitched that much in the minors. I would say he's thrown probably fewer than 200 innings in the minors, but he's been dominant at AAA this year, though they have limited him. He's averaged about 5 innings a start. So, and knowing Mark Kotsay, they'll be very careful with him. I mean, the more I think about it, the caution that Mark Kotsay has been exhibiting all year long with the starting pitchers, I think has to do with his fear of losing out some of these guys through injury as they prepare to leave for Las Vegas, which is in 3 years. But I think he's being extra cautious to keep some of these pitchers able to go once they leave Sacramento. Now, I just wanted to talk about some of the players on the offensive side of things. Jacob Wilson, he's leading all shortstops in all-star balloting. I am not an all-star fan. doesn't mean anything to me really. But I mean, for a team like the A's to have a starting position player, that is not insignificant, and especially if he's a rookie shortstop. Well, so now he's hitting 349 now. You remember for a long time, a couple of weeks, he was in the 360s. So he's had a drop off. Just in the last 9 days, he's gone 5 for his last 29, dropping from 369. It just goes to show, I mean, the season is a grind, and it is tough to maintain a level of excellence, continually and consistently. And so the players are human, and they're going to go through dips and valleys. And so that 5 for 29 stretch came after a period in which he went 19 for 35. That's a 543 batting average. That's better than most kids do in Little League. And for him to do it at the major league level as a rookie, that went from May 31st through June 8th, and that's when he reached his high of 372. But at this point, looks like he's falling off just a little bit. I think Kotsay has to watch out the wear and tear factor. He probably needs to get off his feet a little more once in a while than he has. And see if he can get refreshed for the second half. Now, just by the numbers, not going to happen. I mean, highly improbable that it would happen. But just if he did replicate his first half, really hard to do. I really don't think it's going to happen. But if he did, he would have 204 hits in 584 at bats. For the 349 batting average, with 30 doubles, 18 homers, and 80 ribbies. That would be, basically doubling what he has right now. We shall see if he has the stamina to keep up this pace. It's really almost superhuman to ask it of him, but it'll be fun to watch. Then there's Lawrence Butler, who, I think he could make the case for being an all-star. He's been asked to really perform at a veteran level when he's really still very young and still very inexperienced in the major leagues. He's hitting 260 with 11 home runs. He's got 11 stolen bases. He's scored 44 runs. He's got a 451 slugging, which reflects all of those doubles. I didn't take a look at his stats, but he's got in the 20s, and he's close to the top in the major leagues in doubles. And he's played in 75 of the A's 80 games. And, he's played through some pain and some injury, but he is a gamer. He the other day, he looked like he hurt his wrist on a swing, and I was worried that was going to affect him. He was right back in a day. One of the weaknesses, of course, is the swing and miss. He has struck out 94 times, so we're looking at close to 200 strikeouts on the season unless he is able to bring it down a little bit. Then there's Tyler Soderstrom. You remember how hot he was at the start of the year. Led the world in home runs. I think was one of the first to 10. But now he's settled down to kind of just kind of an average power hitter. He's got 14 home runs. Now that's not bad. I mean, we're talking about 28 home runs right there, and 45 ribbies right now. That would be 90. So that would be a very good power season for a young player like Tyler Soderstrom. He's hitting 253 with a 335 on base. He has struck out 80 times. He's played in 79 of the 80 games. So he has been there for the A's. He's done everything asked of him. Played first base, played left field. He could probably get behind the plate if needed. Remember, he came up as a catcher. And then, of course, there's Brent Rooker, who has played in all 80 games, and he is quietly turning in an all-star season. He's got 15 homers, 41 RBIs, and, that's kind of a low total, and that is partly or largely due to Kotsay heading him second for a lot of this season. I really never liked that choice, and I'm glad that he's hitting more toward the middle of the lineup now. He's hitting 275. I think that might be the highest he's hit all year. 351 on base and a 482 slugging. And his strikeout totals are a little less, a smaller, short, or slower rate than the others with 74 strikeouts. But yeah, he's been solid. Good to see that he's got a swing around, and I can imagine he's going to get even hotter for the second half. Nick Kurtz has essentially played a quarter of the season, 40 games of the 80 that they have played. So, that's a quarter of a full season. Has 10 home runs, 25 ribbies. So that would be, in a full season, that's 40 home runs and 100 RBIs. And hitting 246 with a 5.07 slug. He has had magical moments, as you all know. I was there for his game-winning home run off of Josh Hader and the Astros. The lefty throwing 96, 98 miles an hour, fastball up, and he was able to get around on it and just completely crush it to center field for a home run. I also was there for his game-winning home run 2 days before that, to the deepest recesses of the berm in right center field. I mean, the kid, he's young. He's got so much baseball ahead of him, and look what he's doing already. It was fun. I tweeted about that Houston Astros home run and talked about how the legend is growing. And one of the likes that I got on that was from his dad. I thought that was cute. Nick Kurtz's dad liked my tweet. That was pretty fun. And, of course, we've got Denzel Clark, who just won his 4th straight Major League Baseball Electric Play of the Week when he made that great diving catch on a low line drive in the left center field gap. I was there for that, and I told my seat partners over there that was one of the best catches I've ever seen. It's hard to describe because, you see so many great plays in the gap, center fielders racing 100 feet or more to make a diving catch in the alley. But this one was different because it was a low line drive, and the ball seemed to be ready to land on the turf when he made his dive, and he was able to catch that ball just before it landed on the turf. And it was, his body was all out, Superman style. I didn't notice the cape, but I imagine he had one going there. That was just a beautiful catch. It wasn't one of those Spider-Man wall climbers, but it was definitely a Superman dive. Still, of course, he needs to work on his offense. He's hitting just 190 with 1 homer and 84 at-bats, and he struck out 39 times in 86 plate appearances. So that is a rate that really has to come down. I think he's got the talent. He just has to. I think what it is with him is that he has. I think he's guessing too much and he's guessing wrong. So he needs to. I think he needs to look fastball and then adjust from there. I say that about everybody. And then Max Muncy, he's been fun to watch since his return. The game I went to, he made he was playing like a Gold Glove third baseman, making plays to his right, making plays to his left, coming in, racing in on slow rollers, and making quick decision throws. Just looked great, and what a turnabout for him. Remember when he first came up and he was the A's starting second baseman, it just did not look good. He looked completely out of place. He's a natural-born shortstop, so playing third base is just a little bit more natural for him. It's on the left side of the infield. You just have a better feel for how the ball comes at you. Second base, I've played second base. It is a different world out there. The ball comes at you at a different angle, and you have so many different little technical things that you do over there that you don't do anywhere else. Third base is more of a kind of reaction position, and it requires a good arm, and it requires quick reflexes, and that's what Max Muncy has done, and looking really good out there. But he's in a little funk right now. He's gone 1 for his last 16, so he may be seeing his playing time diminish a little bit, especially with the return of Gio Urshela. And Urshela, we'll see how he... I think he was with the Tigers, right? I think we'll see how his return is with that team. All right. I think that's about all I had for just the update on some of the players. Well, of course, there's Mason Miller, who is trying to climb back from his really troubled season. He has had so many big crushing moments. I was there for one of them when he came in with a 4-1 lead and gave up the 3-run homer to tie it. Of course, it set up Nick Kurtz for his dramatic home run. So thank you, Mason. I mean, that's fine. We will take the drama from Nick Kurtz. But for Mason Miller, at that moment, it was such a crushing blow. You could see his shoulders slump. He came back, and he actually did a good job of getting out of that inning, and then pitching through kind of a mini trouble in the next inning. To get the A's through the 9th and into the 10th to make their comeback win. So, and then he's had a couple of good outings along the way, but too often he has given up the dramatic home run. Trying to figure out what it is. The home run that he gave up was on a 98-mile-an-hour first pitch fastball knee high to Caratini, the catcher for the Astros, left-hander. I mean, all you had to do is get it in on his hands, and you got him. The one spot that Caratini was going to hit him on, Mason Miller threw it to. So I think it may be a matter of just execution, just not throwing his fastball where it needs to. But it seemed to me that after that home run, you could see him pitch with a fury that gave him his dominance that we all know him to have. So I'm hoping that he can get it together. He needs to put together 5 or 6 straight really dominant outings for me to believe that he's back. Okay, I did want to talk about the cringy scene in Las Vegas today with official groundbreaking of the A's potential ballpark where they would move in 2028. It wasn't even a groundbreaking. It was a bunch of suits and ties wearing green A's hard hats with shovels, shoveling red gravel onto a baseball diamond-shaped platform with a big A's insignia under a tent, according to reporting by San Francisco Chronicle baseball reporter Susan Slusser. I mean, I saw it, but that was her description of it. The red gravel onto that diamond-shaped platform. It was strange. I mean, why not go out onto the field and actually dig the dirt that you're actually going to be doing the construction on? I don't know. Heavy construction equipment was staged behind the groundbreaking scene. So it was a tent, and then in the background you would see the heavy construction equipment. And it turns out it was They were all rented as props, not even being used on construction, as reported by Las Vegas writer Doug Pupple, a correspondent for Engineering News Record. Now, I do have to do a caveat on that because someone else posted a video of actual grading being done by some of the equipment trucks earlier this month. And so maybe the equipment that we saw today was not in use, but they have been doing grading on the ground there, excavating and grading. And then kind of strange little multi-million-dollar ad campaign that they began. It was a minute-long kind of commercial that they put out, and then overlaid by the voice of Fisher, the owner Fisher, who said, "It's going to be the best place to play baseball in the United States. We would be opening an incredible visionary stadium right on the Las Vegas Strip." And so there was overhead imagery of Las Vegas, lights, colors, and then shots of the players. It felt like these are our guys being kind of used and abused for this PR campaign. I know they're part of the A's organization. This is what they're building toward. But there are shots of Butler, Kotze, the Las Vegas patches that they're wearing now on the uniforms, then the excavated stadium site. Then there was pictures of Jacob Wilson, our Jacob Wilson, Brent Rooker, Mason Miller, and Butler again, and then an animated time-lapse model of the arena being built. Looks like the first baseball stadium on Mars. It's going to be strange. May not even happen. I mean, that's the issue out there. Then there's video of John Fisher whining about the abuse he's been taken from fans. Really? You're really going to complain about that? More importantly, it was an event intended to attract needed financing. That's why Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred was there. There was an interesting comment from Nevada State Senator Scott Hammond that Susan Slusser reported. Quote, here's what Scott Hammond said, quote, "The one thing people are waiting to see is the money, right? Where is the money? They're going to be so far into this where it's like, all right, this is do or die time. Until it's laid out in full, there will still be those questions. As far as I understand from my conversations with people, that's still a work in progress." Well, way to throw a little bit of sand in those gears. And then, I think a lot of A's fans took exception to seeing people, luminaries like Raleigh Fingers and Dave Stewart, making appearances. My first question was, how much are they being paid to appear? I mean, obviously, Dave Stewart is, I think, part of management, and he has to be there as part of his contract, I guess. Now, he was interviewed by A's cast host Chris Townsend, and when he was asked what he would think when he saw his retired number in the Las Vegas arena, Stewart said, and I'm surprised they didn't yank him off the scene right there. He said, quote, "I don't mean this in a bad way, but I'd much rather see it in Oakland." Whoops. I don't know if they were expecting that kind of comment. But, Dave Stewart wound up taking pretty much a company line for the rest of the interview. A's Twitter rained their fury at TV colorman Dallas Braden for emceeing the event. Poor Dallas Braden. He is an employee of the A's. He's obviously a pitch man as the color man for the A's. What are you going to do? They're going to ask him to go there and do the MC. You can't decline. So it was awkward for Sacramento fans who are being asked to serve as a placeholder till the domed arena is supposed to be done by 2028. And, of course, it was incendiary for A's fans who still hold on to the hope of bringing the A's back. Oh, it'll all be put out in the wash, but so many unknowns, so many unknown unknowns. All right, on to Jenny Cavnar notes. As I said in my last episode, and I still maintain fervently, Jenny Cavnar, the A's play-by-play broadcaster on TV, may be the worst I've ever seen. As I also said, I understand that some may see this as rough, anti-female in the broadcast booth. Not true at all. I named a few women in my last episode who I believe are great pros in the booth, and I'm totally in support of developing more, having more in the booth. I even recommended that the A's develop A's cast reporter Jessica Kleinschmidt as the next play-by-play woman in the booth. Heck, put her into the booth now over Cavnar would be an improvement no matter what. Jessica Kleinschmidt's analysis is spot on. She knows the game, has the language. She'd be a natural. So, I continue my campaign to call attention to the A's mistake in making Jenny Cavnar their play-by-play broadcaster, and I do so with no reticence. But I do it with full sensitivity to the idea that women have to overcome double standards, have to do more and better than men just to get into the same room as them in all walks of life. And as I said earlier, I voted for a woman for president twice, only to watch in pain as the nation remains unable to cross that threshold of electing a woman to the White House. And as I said earlier, I do not align myself with people who call her a DEI hire. I hate the politics that surround that term. I'm just speaking out because of the importance of a play-by-play broadcaster in a baseball fan's life. So, to start, it's not just that Cavnar is boring. It's that she doesn't recognize the drama of a moment and is incapable of conveying it. She kills a thrilling moment every time with her flat, unemotional, and poorly described call. I would be amazed to find out that she's ever listened to a baseball broadcaster in her life before she became a professional. She just doesn't use language associated with the game. And, of course, I'm not the only one who has a tough time listening to her during A's games. There's a whole online community that's taken to recording her calls, spoofing her calls, complaining about her. So, here is just another small sample of Cavnar bloopers. Okay. All right, in Saturday's game with the Guardians, I just happened to take notes on this one. There's Cavnar saying, "Brent Rooker drills one to center field and Brent Rooker's off the wall." What? Who are you calling off the wall? "He's going to head to second for extra bases." as he actually races to third base for a triple. That's a way to start a spark. What? How about going to third and he's in safe? First, the ball was hit off the wall. Brent Rooker was not off the wall. Second, Rooker was heading for third with a triple, and Cavnar had him heading into second with extra bases, just not getting the play right. All right, here's a beauty. Cavnar calling a pop fly to right field with 3 A's converging on it. Brent Rooker gets to it, but butchers it. Plain whiffs on the fly ball, which hits him on the fly ball on the fly on his chest, maybe his belly. Here's her call. 3 A's going for it, and okay, by now the ball has already hit off of Rooker's body, is bouncing back toward the infield. So here she is. 3 A's going for it, and no one gets it. What? Brent Rooker ultimately had the best look at it. It drops in front of him, and on second base is Angel Martinez. Well, drops in front of him was one way to describe a ball that hit off of Rooker's chest. And her quote, ultimately had the best look at it, is bland and nondescriptive and not helpful at all. Tell us the ball hit off his body and caromed off his body back toward the infield. Here's another one. All right. Luis into right. Will make an out and no opportunity for Muncy to come home. That ball hit too hard. Will make an out? I mean, that's 8th grade level of understanding of what's going on. It was a line drive. Caught by Cleveland's right fielder. Max Muncy at third base didn't try to score from third because it wasn't hit deep enough, not because it was hit too hard. And making an out, you don't make an out. That's what you say on the school ground when you're in third grade. Oh. All right. One moment from Sunday's game. It was top of the 5th, 2 outs, runners at first and second. David Fry, the batter. Fry hits a line drive, base hit to left field. Soderstrom fielding it on a hop. His throw is a bit off the mark as Stephen Kwan slides safely to avoid a tag. Here's her call. Into left field, bounces in front of Soderstrom. Here comes the throw, and the runner is getting waved around. Let's do that again. Into left field, bounces in front of Soderstrom. Here comes the throw, and the runner is getting waved around. So, actually, Kwan has already slid safely into home ahead of the throw, not the runner getting waved around. Willie reaches for Kwan and can't get him. She's talking about the catcher. And Kwan has already headed back into the dugout after already having slid past the catcher. Kwan safe on the RBI double from David Fry. It was a single. He moved up to second on the throw. These are just, little samples that I caught when I had a pen and pad in hand. If I spent my whole day taking notes on all of her bloopers, it would fill an entire notebook. One last complaint about Jenny Cavnar. It's every time. Every time. Can someone tell Jenny that the phrase is, it's a swing and a miss, not swing and miss. Swing and a miss, not swing and miss. Okay, that's all I have for today. Thank you for tuning in to Sacramento's Curveballs and Changeups with me, your host, Steve Harmon. You can find Sacramento's best baseball podcast on Apple Tunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Odyssey, the podcast app, and wherever else you can listen to podcasts. Please hit the subscribe button so you can get notified when my next podcast is up. I'm also on Twitter, or what some call X, and Threads, and post my episodes there. If you see it there, please retweet or repost and tell your friends. It would be great to grow our baseball-loving community. Okay, until next time, lay on the slider, low and away.